Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. As you can see, today's setup is a little different. I'm using my phone to record audio today, so we're going to see how that goes. And today's video is going to be a time challenge. It's going to be a little different to the previous ones where I've been making a song in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Today we're going to have 5 minutes to just create a patch. Now the sound design on this thing, the nts-1, is quite a lot more complex than that of the circuit tracks. The circuit tracks can do some pretty complex stuff, but you need a computer to edit the patches themselves. You just have these. You've just got 8 knobs to play with, and you can choose what they do, but it means that when you're actually working on the fly, you don't have a lot of control. This is different. It's definitely not the deepest synth out there, far from it, but it does have quite a lot more control than on the circuit track, so I think 5 minutes will actually create an interesting challenge with what we end up with. You'll notice I kind of know what I'm talking about here because I've tried to record this before, and my phone decided to stop doing its job and stop recording, so I'm going to take it in a different direction than what I did last time, which means I'm going to have to do some thinking, but I'm going to start at the 2-minute mark and go into the 7-minute mark. I did a sort of acid bass patch with a bit more reverb and delay than usual, so I'm going to try and avoid that as much as I can, but here we go. So, initialize patch. I'm going to rather, because an acid bass is kind of a heavier style patch, I'm going to take this in a lighter direction. So I'm going to start with the triangle wave. Now the shape control here does some wave folding to the wave, which is a very Buchla style type of distortion. It does take out some low end, so to put that back in, we have a sub oscillator, which will obviously help with creating a bass patch. Now I'm going to just sort of fine tune these a little bit. Now the sub oscillator is a square wave, and we're at 244, so I think that's a pretty good sound. I'm going to do the same type thing where it's a low pass filter sweeping down, but I'm not going to have too much resonance, so it's going to be sort of more of a, I could not tell you. I'm pretty sure acid was like big in the 80s and this type of bass was big in the 70s, but in case you couldn't tell by my voice, I wasn't around then, so I don't exactly know what I'm talking about in terms of the history of all these different types of synthesis. I just want to explain my process a little more. When you press and hold the filter button, you get into the sweep menu, which is like a filter envelope. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I've used 2 minutes up, so envelope. I want some more release, which I feel like just goes hand in hand with sort of a less heavy sound. I don't know why, but I feel like sharp, abrupt sounds just kind of feel heavier. I guess that kind of makes sense. Might even have a little bit of attack, which is kind of weird for a bass patch, but you know. I'm going to turn up the sub oscillator a little more to add a bit more bass. That didn't really change much. Anyway, I think this is pretty good where it's at. In terms of effects now, we're going to move into this. So, mod effects, I want to go kind of heavy with maybe a chorus or a flanger. No, not that. Phaser maybe? There's definitely something stereo going on here. It's actually pretty good. I just want to turn the depth down a little bit. That's actually quite nice. Delay, I think we're going to keep it fairly simple on this one. Well, like minimal delay. We're going to go mono. No, we're going to go stereo, just to keep that stereo character of the... Could we do a phaser? Low depth, absolutely. Don't need too much of it. Yeah, that's a good time. In terms of reverb, we've got up to the 7-minute mark, so we're actually not doing too bad on time. I want to do maybe... I quite like the riser reverb, actually. No, that adds too much high-pitched character. Yeah, that's not too bad, honestly. It's kind of hard to play accurate notes on this tiny little keyboard, and also the range isn't great. But that's okay. Not a bad bass patch, and we came in a little bit under time. So yeah, a triangle-based bass patch with low pass filter moving down with not too much resonance. Envelope kind of leaves it open a little bit with some attack and release. Modulation, a phaser effect which adds quite a lot to the sound. Delay and reverb are fairly subtle but definitely add some space and additional character. So now, once it hits the 8-minute mark, we're going to do another one, and that will take us up to 13 minutes. This time, well, we've got 30 seconds to think about it. What exactly we're going to do? Well, we're definitely going to go in a heavier direction from a triangle wave. Why don't we try out the FM engine, which is what this is, VPM, what's it called, variable pulse width modulation. I guess we'll see, hopefully it goes in a bit of a heavier direction. We got 2, 1, let's go. So let's go to that engine. We start with just a sine wave, classic FM territory. So we have shape, which controls the intensity of the modulation, and alt, which controls the ratio between the operators. So we want to turn it up a little bit so we can hear the difference. We want to go for a nice, like, not whole number, but like a nice clean ratio to work with. That sounds nice without being too high pitch. So I think we're just going to have to go with this one, which isn't too like sonically interesting, but we don't have a lot of options without going really high pitch. And we're definitely modulating that. So we're going to turn down, if you press and hold oscillator you get the LFO, we're going to turn down the frequency a bit. If you have this second knob left of the middle, it modulates the pitch, like so. And to the right, modulates the shape. So we're going to turn the frequency up just a little bit. And that sounds nice. Now in terms of filtering, we're going to go with, maybe a band pass. No, I think bass we're just going to have to do low pass. It's just the way it is. Going to go fairly middle of the road cutoff, and we are going to have an envelope, but it's not going to be too intense, like, you know, not a massive depth. It's just going to build it up a little bit. Okay, that's a little too much. Yeah, just something like that. Like, it's nothing too intense. We're now at the 2-minute mark within this challenge, so we're going to go into the AHR envelope, I think. This is ending up not being super intense again. It's kind of not exactly like soft and gentle, but it's definitely not the harshest bass I've ever created. See, this thing doesn't have a distortion, which kind of annoys me. I need to get some third-party effects on here. Now this time I think we're going to go with chorus. That was way too much depth. We're going to go quite low. Now I don't want the time to line up with the, I mean I can't even really hear it, but you know, you want to create some more interesting variations in the time, so don't let them line up together. Now we're going until 13 minutes, so we've got about a minute and a half on the clock. That chorus adds a lot of character here. It's like fairly subtle, but it's definitely helping out a lot. Now, delay. I'm not going to do anything too big here. We might go high pass just to create some interesting character. You know, the bass is fairly low in the frequency range, so having some high pass move it up. And we can turn the depth up quite high, but because it's high pass, the echoes don't actually obstruct the previous notes, so it actually works out quite well. 1 minute left to add some reverb, so we're going to do, we don't want, it's submarine. Yeah, I like literally didn't scroll to this one and kind of just forgot it existed. But it's basically just at sort of low end. Sort of ringing out in the bass frequencies, which is perfect for a bass patch. So we have 26 seconds left, and we're just gonna, again, we're coming in a little bit too early. I don't like the way the delay sounds if you sort of play into individual notes, it kind of rings out too much. But when you just play slow notes like this, it actually sounds really nice in my opinion. I wish I could actually play on this keyboard and I could do like a better demonstration and actually show off the sound I made. That worked quite well. One last thing, as you can see, I took a while to ramble, but anyway, I do have a live show coming up. It's online. It's the Magpie Pirates Spookfest, which is just their sort of online synth music festival. If you know Simon the Magpie here on YouTube, it's his Discord server that's running it. So join his server and all the information will be there. What I do know that I can't give you, so on the 29th of October at 9 a.m., is it UTC? 9 a.m. UTC on the 29th of October, I will be performing. I understand that because, well, that's a convenient time for me as an Australian. That's going to be a convenient time for no one else in the world. So I'm guessing not a lot of people are going to be watching, but still, it's a cool event to be a part of whenever you can tune in. It goes for, I think, nearly 2 days straight. So you can tune into any of the performers. That would be awesome. There might be details in the description, but if not, like I said, join Simon the Magpie's Discord server and see what you can find out. While I'm on the topic of self-promotion, you should also join my Discord server and follow me on Instagram and buy my albums on Bandcamp, and I don't really have anything else. But yeah, the most important one, honestly, is join my Discord server. We're on a monthly sample challenge. Well, we have been, but no one's really participating, and that's fine. I don't really do it either very much. But if more people get involved, I definitely will. So join in, join the fun. Also, I'm nearly at 200 subscribers. There will be a special. I'm thinking of making a sample pack. If people would be interested in that, let me know. But now that I'm finally finished my rambling after 18 minutes, we will be ending the video. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to this channel. Possibly the next video, but it probably after a little while, will be a recording of my live set. So definitely stay tuned for that. Also, I will be unable to create new videos for a while due to just not having access to some of the devices I use. So I will be sort of pre-recording videos, so that I will be responding to comments, but I won't necessarily be able to make your suggestions right away. So still leave them, and I'll make them eventually, but I won't be able to do things right away. But with that in mind, thank you for watching. After 19 minutes, finally, I will see you in the next one. Bye.